Understand that for most people who haven't appeared on camera, their first time is something like between going to the dentist and going to jail. They're just not sitting around saying, "Oh, if only someone wanted to interview me today, I'd have so much to say." Just doesn't work like that. Hi, have a seat. So you have to make them feel comfortable. Start by assuming that everyone is absolutely petrified of the thought of doing this, and treat everyone the same way. So here's what you'll do. First, you'll show them the camera and where they'll be looking during the interview. By the way, did you get them to sign the release right after they agreed to do the interview? Okay, good. Now you'll get them mic'd up and explain that hiding the mic wire avoids distractions, so it simply needs to slide underneath their clothing and come out between the second and third button on their shirt, 4 to 6 inches below their mouth. On a pullover, the mic pokes out at the top and attaches to the collar. Now, once they're mic'd and seated, check that your camera is positioned at eye level. You don't want the camera pointing up or down at your subject. And then sit down on your side of the camera and check that there's some nose room, a little space in front of wherever they're facing. Now, these visual checks are done looking at the viewfinder while your subject faces you. Their eyes should land either here or here. Your camera should be just to the right or left of your subject, but not too far to the side, or you'll miss some important facial reactions and your composition will be off. And before we start recording, there are 3 important things you want to tell your client. Number 1, since your voice will not be heard in the interview, ask your client to incorporate your questions into his or her answers. So if you were to ask, "What is your name?" you'll need an answer back like, "My name is John," as opposed to just John. Number 2, it's almost a universal thing that when someone finishes their answer to you, they'll look away or they'll look up at the top of the camera. And when that happens, it shatters the illusion of a one-on-one conversation. So try to maintain eye contact with your subject long enough to make an edit later, just a couple of seconds worth. I can't tell you how many times I've done a great interview, got a fantastic answer to a pointed question, and then the client looked away just as he stopped speaking, making the shot unusable. It's very difficult to retake a magical soundbite the way it happened the first time. So try a couple of practice questions first to see if they tend to look away or stay focused. And finally, number 3, remind them that because your voice won't be heard, please wait half a second before they respond. This will save you untold amounts of grief in editing because you won't have voices talking over voices, which just can't be edited. Now, we're ready to start rolling tape and talking. And this is a very important moment. If you sense your interviewee suddenly freezing up when the red light goes on, you need to fix this right away or your whole interview will be shot. So stop the camera and let them know that you're only going to use the best takes, the ones that make them look and sound their best. And that usually calms a person down right away. Then ask your first question. Now that first question should always be their name. Ask them to spell it if you aren't sure. Then say something like, "This video is being used as a testimonial for my company. Is it okay for us to talk to you on camera?" Now, why would you do this if you've already gotten them to sign a release? Number 1, it's a good backup in case the form didn't get signed or it gets lost. And number 2, it gets them to buy into the process. Of course, they'll always say yes at this point. So now you're in really good shape as long as you're prepared. But what does being prepared mean? Well, it means you have your questions ready to ask, not just in your head, but on paper. So let's go over the questions you should ask of everyone in a testimonial.